Oh, it's playing, I guess. What's going on?
Those are my fights. But
I can't
We
even
can't-
see.
Yeah, we can't see. This is not usually how the intro starts. I don't know what's going on.
Some news today, I guess.
all right, that means we gotta stay on our toes.
I hope we're backstage because it our mics are on, Jay, and we can see our screens, and we can't hear the intro at all or see it. Oh, well, we're here now. Doing all right today, Carly?
Yep, I just finished training, so now I'm chilling
Nice,
till it's time to eat my last meal.
nice, nice.
The computer is froze, and yes, everybody can hear you.
Oh, that's great. Well,
All right, we're live. Well,
this is
if
this
that's
is
the
a
case,
great
welcome to
intro.
welcome to MMA Underground, your favorite part of Tuesday. I'm gonna have the dynamic duo known as Buddy V, killing it with the one and only.
Sam K, and man, we got a phenomenal guest in the building. We have the one, the only, Carly in the building. How are
Crispy.
you?
I'm good. I'm great.
So,
Awesome, awesome.
and you guys, all of you, don't know that you're in the presence of somebody who is making waves. Not just making waves, but doing them in record-breaking time, too. I'm not talking about, 15, 20 years in what she's accomplished in a few years. Some people take a lifetime, and it's crazy. So I'm excited to talk about this. And I mean, first up, before anything, obviously, we have this Saturday, huge UFC event going on. You kind of want to talk about that? Because it's got a nice stacked card, and you might find somebody on there.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I don't follow the UFC. I don't really even follow MMA, so I'm gonna have to do some research. I don't even know what this show is, to be honest. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I make my UFC debut this Saturday. Finally, it's been 8 months since I fought, so to be here this week and to know that I fight in like 4 days is an amazing feeling. So I'm ready.
That's
Oh yeah,
awesome. That's awesome.
and it was crazy
So,
because
oh, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I was saying it's crazy because I saw that when I was watching. You went on a killer fight, went all the way, and then Dana White ended up giving both of you a contract at the end because you just had such a phenomenal performance. I mean, how did that feel to just hear that? I mean, I don't even know how you could even process such an emotion.
Dude, it was insane. So after the fight, they send the loser back to the hotel, and the winner gets the interviews and stuff like that. All the press. So I lost. They sent me straight onto the loser bus, back home, back to the hotel, and I found out that I got the contract live, like when everybody else on TV found out. So I didn't know. I was watching it, just to see if he was gonna like mention that it was a good fight. I wasn't expecting for him to say, that we got a contract. So it was crazy. I didn't have any words at first. I was like, yo, is this real? Because in my mind, in the fight, when you're in there and you're fighting and you lose, I feel like I did like shit. Because before you go back and rewatch it, you start to see where you may have good moments, bad moments, but like I knew I lost, and I just felt like I got hit a lot. So I was like, damn, I did shitty. So for him to say I got a contract in that moment, I was like, damn, where'd that come from, But then I went back and watched it, and I was like, okay, that was a good fight. It was a crazy pace, and then all started to feel real. And then when I went home, they sent the camera crew to come video stuff, so everything was just starting to feel like real and legit. So yeah, it was crazy. They followed me home to Louisiana. And videos and stuff for like a documentary and all that stuff. So everything was it just kept like dope shit just kept happening after the fight, and since the day I found out I was fighting, it's just on the Contender Series, it was crazy. I wasn't even really supposed to fight on Contender. I had only 4 wins at that point. So and it was a 10-day notice. Like I just got lucky to get the call.
Well, you definitely sound passionate. You definitely you're putting in the work. What can we look to see in this first fight from you in the UFC?
I mean, yeah, there'll be a lot to see. Hopefully, you know, like I'm coming in hungry. I'm coming in ready. Especially this is my longest layoff I've had since I've started. MMA like 4 years ago. My first amateur fight, I fought like every 3 months, all the way up into the Contender Series. So I was rolling. Even when I had surgery, I was in there within like 4 to 5 months. I didn't take a. So for me to have this 8-month layoff because we just didn't have opponents, we were waiting for the UFC to call. You know, it was the beginning of the year, so they were booking big fights. So when we finally got an opponent, you know, 8 months later, I was like, damn, that took a while. But the whole time I was working, I was training and getting ready for this moment because I knew it would come. So definitely. I've been working, you know, that was my first 15-minute fight I've had. All my pro fights were finishes. So they were quick first round. So to go 15 minutes, I was like, whew, damn, that was hot. So that being said, this camp, the focus was get comfortable being tired of shit. So like we just worked being in that, you know, those deep waters, you know, cardio wise. So that's what I'm coming to show is like I can go 15 minutes. I can push the pace, and that's one thing I think will be, you know, the difference between me and her is I think I'll be able to push the pace a little more than she can. I'm nonstop. You know, I don't throw one punch. Hopefully, you know, my goal is not to just throw one punch at a time. You know, I'm coming, I'm throwing, I'm not stopping, and keeping the gas, you know, keeping the pedal on the gas. So that's my goal for this fight, just to put on a performance, put on a show, and I want everybody to be excited for the next time I'm in there. You know, people that don't know me be like, damn, that was a good fight. I can't wait till she fights again. That's my goal every time I get in there, is to perform and put on a show.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to say, you know, taking that fight on a 10-day notice, one of my favorite quotes is luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And I feel like that's a prime example. And I mean, your fight with Monica Medina, I mean, you absolutely dominated. I mean, you're talking about coming out laying left, right. And every time she had a defense like a video game, one opening comes, bam, you attack it, drops the guard, you come back and you get another one. I mean, out of all your pro fights with the finishes, do you have a favorite fight of yours?
My pro debut was my favorite fight. It was a 17-second head kick knockout, and I mean, I train at Head Kicks Martial Arts, so for me to get a head kick knockout on my pro debut, that was insane. I'll never forget that. It was legit. And then like the finish was pretty. Sometimes, you know, I go watch my fights and I'm like, ooh, that was ugly, but that one I can honestly say that was a pretty kick. So yeah, I love that finish. It was Ivana Coleman, I think her name was. October 15th of 2022 was my pro debut.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was curious to know how long were you doing amateur fights before going pro?
I did 4 amateur fights before I went pro. We were trying to go 1 or 2 more, but we could not find anything locally or even in the surrounding states. We couldn't find any opponents. Nobody either wanted them, or there was just no fights. Nobody to fight around here. So my coach was like, well, I think you're ready to go pro. You have the skills. So then we just jumped to make the pro. I wanted to have more amateur fights. It just didn't happen that way, but I am where I am now because of everything that happened. So I don't regret anything, you know. Of course, more experience is better, but I'm cool with learning on the job. You know, I'll learn. Step in there. I'm cool with it. I don't have to go the traditional route, like train my whole life. I can do things like, as long as I put in the work. I don't have to have 10 years of experience, you know? So that's kind of, you know, everybody's like, oh, Carli's going to lose. Oh, Carli doesn't have the experience that all these girls are having. But that's what I tell everybody. Like, every single person I've fought had more experience than me, just because like that's just how I started late. I started later than most people have. But I mean, I put in the work, and nobody can take that from me. You know, you can say that I started late, but I also put in hours, you know, put in focused hours, and that makes a world of difference. And I think I got off topic of what you even asked, but
oh no, you're right on topic. Right on.
Yeah. And it's crazy because that's one of the things I know that I tell people, money can never buy that. Money can never buy the dedication and the results of, you know, all that time put in. And that's one of the things why, you know, fighters are always revered in such a way, because not everyone's going to be able to take that time to get hit, to push past their boundaries, to go outside of their comfort zone, to be able to grow to the next level. And I mean, the transition, I know it's crazy because I was watching some of your interviews, and you were in college for softball before you did the transition to MMA, right?
Yep. Yep.
Damn, that's cool. I was gonna say, is there any skills that you felt were able to kind of help you transition to come over? Because I know with the twisting of the hips and the placements, and I know sometimes with kicking and whatnot, is there anything that kind of helped you?
Yeah, I think
Or
I was a catcher my whole life. So, I'm like constantly squatting in and up and down. Like, so I'm good, like low on the ground. And that people say I have strong hips and legs because I was a catcher. So, like, that kicks are like some of my, my signature moves. So people say that, that's a good transfer over and like turning my hips for turning punches. So I don't think about it in the moment, but lifelong playing softball, I'm sure it transfers over without me even realizing it. So yeah, I played softball my whole life. That was my sport, and then I kind of got burnt out with it in a way, and I wasn't able to like break past certain barriers because I played till I was 21, but I was also very immature mentally and spiritually, physically, all just very immature. So finally, when I was done playing softball and I got into MMA, I feel like I was matured, and even if I wasn't matured, I matured along the way, but I was mature enough to choose that this is what I wanted to do. Because when you play softball and you start something really young, your parents put you in it, and then if you have like my dad was very like, I tried to quit playing softball when I was 12, and he was like, you ain't quitting. I was like, dang, okay. So like when you have parents that like kind of not force you to do something, but like tell you that this is what you should be doing, you believe them and you do it. And like softball, I wouldn't take anything away. Softball like made me who I am. I met amazing people that are still my best friends, to this day. So, and it brought me where I am today. But, yeah, moral of the story is I'm glad I got into something of my own that wasn't, like my parents kind of made me do and stuff like that. So I got into MMA and I really thrived with it because I was old enough and mature enough to make all the decisions by myself. My dad wasn't making me go to practice like he was when I was in softball. My parents weren't driving me when I was 12 to practice. Like everything in MMA was my own decision. Like I got up in the morning to go to practice. I got up to run. I have to diet. Like I'm not just, eating whatever my parents cook because I'm not a kid anymore. Like being an adult and starting something new, you can really make it your own and thrive. And I think that's what I did. And I broke past barriers I never could mentally when I was playing softball because of my maturity level. So there you go. I rambled again, but
No, hey, that was awesome. I wanted to know, with softball being your original sport, did you grow up fighting, or what drew you to say I want to do fighting?
No, I didn't even know. Like, I was one of those people that thought UFC was like the sport of MMA. Like, oh yeah, I want to do UFC. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing up until 2021 or 2020. Like I wasn't big into MMA at all. And I was playing softball. And then whenever I moved home, I played softball about an hour and a half from where I live in college. And then whenever I decided to quit softball and move home, my brother was training just as a hobby, at the gym that I train at, Head Kicks Martial Arts in Lafayette, Louisiana. And he was like, you should come because
Shout out Lafayette.
Shout out Lafayette,
I'll see
Louisiana.
y'all in the pew.
Yeah, I don't know the Lafayette, whatever that, I don't know. I gotta look. I forgot what I was saying. Dang.
Your brother was training for a little bit.
Yeah, my brother was training, and I came home not doing anything. I didn't play softball anymore. Like I was kind of lost, to be honest. I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I'll be in school, but I was physically active my whole life, and now I'm working at Outback, eating blooming onions, eating bread, like not training, not doing nothing. So my brother was like, you should come train at this gym. So I got the little 2-week trial. I'm sure I looked whack the first time I started throwing punches. I can just picture myself putting those gloves on and just coach was like, probably throw a jab. And I was just like going crazy. But I think I have videos. I'm going to have to pull those up for y'all one day. Videos of my first.
yeah.
It was awful. I can't even go watch it. Anyway. But yeah, so I think a year after I started training at Head Kicks, I had my first amateur fight. So I was trying to, I think about 6 months into training, that's when I decided like, okay, I want to fight. So then about the next 6 months, I started to get ready for my amateur debut. And then I think I made my amateur debut February of 2021. So I started training. My first day in the gym was probably a year before that, in 2020, February, right before COVID and stuff hit in 2020. So yeah, it's been, a crazy timeline of how everything happened, college to starting to amateur, to running out of amateurs to fight, going pro, and then getting a Contender Series call within, three, 4 fights. So it was crazy. But shout out to my management team for getting, I wouldn't even got that call if it wasn't to them. So that's awesome, because they put in good words for me and they believe in me. So that's awesome. Sucker Punch management team. It's great. Had to shout them out. Can't shout out Lafayette and not shout out my management team.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's crazy. All that work making the UFC pro debut. Woo, woo, woo. I know that GoC was curious, stepping out into the UFC. What was your ultimate end goal or anything with your fighting career?
Wait, say that one more time. I lost you.
When you started training, what was your ultimate end goal for fighting?
Well, when I first started, just as an amateur, I didn't even have an end goal. I was just like, I just wanted to get into the world of MMA and see what it even felt like to fight. I don't even think I thought that I could make it a career and thought that I could be good enough until like my third amateur fight, my second to last amateur fight. I was like, okay, maybe I'm actually, pretty decent at this, and that I can do this. And then I started to switch my mindset into, okay, let's go pro. Let's see where we can go from there. So I didn't even have, big dreams of the UFC for the first couple fights I had. I just was fighting because I was training and I'm used to competing in softball. So for me to just be like in the gym, not working towards something is weird. So I guess that was the ultimate, like, okay, this is why I'm going to start fighting, because I need to do something with all this training. Like, I don't want to just train to just sit on the couch. Like, I'm going to train to fight. And then it all started to just, snowball. And, here we are today, just because of, I started to compete and then I fell in love with it. And then, there's also like, you fall in love with being good at something too. It's like, whenever you start to pick up traction, it's like, okay, I'm good at this. Okay, I'm getting better. And you start watching videos of how you were 6 months ago or a year, and you're like, dang, okay, let's keep this going. I'm getting better. And that's just the vibe of how it's been since I've started. And I'm still trying to, keep that snowball rolling and get better. And I'm still young. That's a good thing. So I'm still gonna continue to learn. And even I'm in the UFC, but I'm not done. Like I gotta stay in the UFC. I gotta get some wins. I gotta keep working. So it's really just the beginning. This is not the end just because I made it to the UFC. So I gotta keep working, and I'm excited for it all.
I can't wait to keep seeing this rise. And Jay, can we pull up that comment from Ryan? I'm curious. I saw that about Power Slap. Last week, UFC fighters are going to Power Slap. Ooh. What are your thoughts on that? Would you do something like that? I mean,
on Power Slap, I don't know. I mean, I've never got slapped before. I'd rather get punched, I think.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You're
Yeah.
just starting your career. You don't need damage to your chin for no reason other than the check,
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather
Right.
too. I need all my limbs.
I'm just saying that's just me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, CTE is real. Plus, you got so much. You want to display what you can do in your fighting and what you've been working for and training for, and we want to see that as fans.
Yeah.
You go to Power Slap and it's just Power Slap.
Yeah, I don't need to
be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we put. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do put in a lot of work. I feel like as martial artists, we put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. And I mean, how much hours can you? I mean, I guess there is technique to throw in a good slap called. So you can't take nothing away from that. I don't know. Controversial, I guess.
And shout out to my bros that are out there doing it. I support and love DTP.
I don't know if I
no love. But those guys are choosing to do that instead of fighting. You know what I mean? And you are a fighter. Just at the beginning of your career. Essentially.
So what do you think about BKFC too then?
Ooh.
Sorry.
What's up?
Because I saw he brought up Ryan brought up McGregor and Brock Lesnar doing power slap, but I know McGregor's got his hands in the BKFC now, and it's a huge thing. And Kai Stewart's fighting the Duran in Miami, and I know they're trying to set him up for a slaughter. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I think Kai's gonna take away. I think he's gonna come out there and whoop some ass. But I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts on that too? Fighting with no gloves.
I think it's what it does. Just like power slap, like I think the fans love it. Like fans love power slap, and the fans love to see people get hit with no gloves. Like it's because it's bloody. It's like it's grueling. It's nasty because it's just people get cut, and people like to see that. So I think it's a great idea. I don't know if I'd ever do it. I like what I do. I fall in love with it, and just like people can fall in love with power slap and BKFC. So, yeah, to each their own. Everybody, can't take nothing away. We're all working, so, and we all are doing it for our own reasons. And yeah, I'm cool. I like it. I like to watch it. So, yeah, moral of that story. I'm down.
I had to ask, I went to the tryouts, everyone I was like, "Ooh, man, that's something I would do once or twice, 3 times, It happens in the street, and if that's the case, might as well get paid for it. No, and for those of you that don't know, she is #1 in all of Louisiana for fighters pound for pound right now in the women's division. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, you seem like such a humble person as well. I mean, how does something like that not just make your head just
I didn't even know that. Well, I mean, I guess I didn't know that, but that's awesome. I mean, I put in the work to be there, so I try to, just be like, it's believable because I don't know, I'm proud of myself for it. Like, I don't say that a lot, I put in a lot of hours, so to be able to like look at that and like just look at everything I've accomplished in this time, it's cool to see. But I don't harp on it and talk about it because I still have a lot more to do and a lot more work to put in. So it's cool what I did, but I still got to keep moving forward. This is not enough for me. I want more. So yeah, hopefully I could, be pound for pound in the world one day. And, if not, maybe I can come close. I just, I want more than what I have now for myself. So I'm going to keep working.
well,
That's what he do, man. That's what he does.
we have too much fun.
Right, right. Could you see yourself in any other major organization other than the UFC in the future?
No, because I want to stay in the UFC. I want to I want to be a vet one day. I want to be like a legend. I want to be somebody that's been in there for 10 years. I want to be the woman Dustin Poirier of Lafayette, of Louisiana. So that's my goal. I want to make big waves in the UFC and stay in it for a long time. So.
No, I'm excited to keep watching. No, I'm curious because you are one badass fighter, and your fight name is Crispy. I'm very curious. How did this come about? I want to know. I need to know.
All right, it's kind of a long story. It's not really long, but I'm a rambler, so I'm gonna make it long. So So
hey, hell yeah.
I got 7 siblings, right? We grew up in my grandparents' cake shop. My grandma owned a cake shop, and we lived right behind them. In the same yard. So we were in the cake shop any time of the day that we wanted to, and we were homeschooled for some of our life, so we were there all day. And grandmas, like, they kiss up to their grandkids, so anytime we wanted sweets, anytime we wanted anything, like before you whipped icing, it's like a sweet condensed milk, and she used to give us that to drink. I was just like a 10-year-old, and she would just give it to me, or probably even younger than that. I was like, should I be drinking water? Like, no, okay, I'll drink this. So, moral of that story, I got addicted to sweets and sugar. And my go-to is donuts. So the comes from Krispy Kreme, but it's also like, I want my fighting style to be crisp and clean, but the crisp, the pun to it. But I got this, I'm trying to show y'all, donut tattoo. Oh, I can't show you.
Oh, hell yeah.
So,
Okay.
Decked out donuts. I'm trying to get everybody I know to get a donut tattoo. Everybody in my family. I only got one car, but hopefully we can get more people to get some donut tattoos. But yeah.
What's your favorite donut?
I like chocolate, especially Krispy Kreme chocolate donut.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, people ask me like, how do you stay skinny if you eat donuts all the time? I don't really eat donuts all the time. Like, I have them like once every 3 months or something. Like I don't eat them all the time because I gotta train. I gotta eat good to feel good to train. I gotta keep my weight down because I fight at 125, so I can't get up to 185 eating donuts. So I'm smart about it, but when I get some donuts like after my fight, I'll go crazy for a day or two. Then I'll get back to evening out eating normal. So, but that's where it comes from. Donuts, Krispy Kreme. Let everybody know we're all getting tattoos.
That's what's up. Shout out Meshes Donuts. That used to be my spot in Louisiana.
Meshes, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah. Give me some kolaches too.
Yep.
Dang, all right. You got more willpower than I do. I don't know if I could go one every 3 months. I mean, once every like 3 weeks. Yeah, at least one maple bar here and there.
Oh, yep. And don't add the bacon on it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Woo.
So we're talking about foods, sweets, and goods and stuff. You mentioned making sure that you stay at your weight. Is there ever a point in which you have to monitor your weight cut, and can you talk to us about your thoughts on that subject?
Yeah, for sure. I usually walk around about 143 to 145. So that's like a 20 pound weight cut. We get a 1 pound allowance at fighting at 125, so you really got to make 126. But yeah, so I cut like with an 8-week period. Before then I eat like normal. I eat good enough to train because I can't just eat, burgers and pizza all day because I probably could and burn it off, but I'm going to feel terrible for training. So just naturally being an athlete, you just eat stuff that makes you feel better. So, I'll have pizza maybe on the weekends, maybe a burger on the weekends if, I burned a bunch of calories that week just to keep me, living life. You can't just eat chicken and rice your whole life. I mean, I guess you could, but that's not option. And then, I eat good to make sure I'm feeling good for training. But 8 weeks out, I get my nutritionist, gets me on a diet plan. We start cutting weight, slow and steady, which this camp has been perfect and beautiful as opposed to my Contender Series 10-day cut. I cut from 143, which I would usually start at in 10 days to get to 125 for Contender Series in 10 days. So 17 pounds ish in 10 days. Crazy. So to have this, 8-week camp for the UFC debut, my weight's perfect. I feel good. I feel ready. And yeah. So back to cutting weight. Cut it in about an 8-week period, about from 145, just dieting. And yeah. So right now I feel pretty good. I got probably, 5 more pounds to go. And some people, they have 10 pounds at this point. So I like the way that, me and my nutritionist do it. Everybody does it a little different. But yeah. So did I cover your question?
Yep.
Cool. Hell yeah.
It's crazy knowing that you're such a badass fighter because I know sometimes people view fighting as a little brutal and you said your brother was already training at the gym and whatnot. Did you have any family that maybe was hesitant seeing you kind of step into this fighting world? Because I know it's like they're like, oh, my little girl, my little boy, oh, my child's gonna get hit in the face, and they just can't see it. And I know some parents are like, you go out there, you whoop some ass, and
oh yeah. My mom is the one that I don't even know why she buys tickets because she doesn't watch them. She's like that, wasting her money. But my dad, he likes to see it. So I mean, that's to be expected, I guess. Mom doesn't want to see it. My dad, he's proud of me and all that stuff. So my mom's caught on to it now. Like she's finally just accepting it. At first, I'm sure she tried to talk me to go back to school when I was like, I want to be a fighter. But now she's now that I'm in UFC, now she's kind of forced to like believe that I can do this and not try to make me go back to school. So yeah, I'm glad that they're all cool with that I'm doing this because I'm doing it either way, So they supporting me now. I got the best support system at home and yeah, it's awesome.
What up, Fire Chicken? What up?
Carli right here is making her pro debut, Fire Chicken.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned earlier about when you jumped into MMA and fighting in general, you chose to make that decision and you really changed your mentality and your focus. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean by that? Because I think, there's a lot of fighters, they don't take it serious, and it shows in their fights, it shows in their career. And can you talk to us a little bit about how you made that switch?
Yeah. As soon as I realized that this is accepted, that this is what I'm gonna do. I don't have a plan B. I don't want to go back to school. I'm not going back to school. Like, this is my only option to fight, to make it, to make it big or whatever it is. So once I finally accepted that and realized that this is this is how I want the trajectory of my life to be, I didn't give myself another option. So everything just came easy. Uh, just knowing that there was nothing else on the table for me. It's like you put all your eggs in one basket because this is how it's gonna be, and you just it's kind of the same thing. Whenever I had that Contender Series fight, right? It was like, can you cut 17 pounds in 10 days? It was like, okay, so once I say yes, uh, once we sign a contract, I'm gonna make weight. And once you told your body that, I told my body that every day. I had no idea if I was gonna make weight. Like, I was terrified because it's something I never did. But once I told my body, like, you have to make weight. You said yes. This is the biggest opportunity of your life, and everything just started. It was so easy. It's like, if you think about a 17-pound cut in 10 days, that sounds so hard. But mentally, I just kept telling myself, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And my body started to follow along with the mental. So I think I did that, just in my pro career and everything I do. I try to think of it like, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to go to practice. You're going to do this. You're going to make it. And everything just starts to line up with what you're saying that is going to happen. It's like manifesting, I guess you can call it, So,
Yeah.
That's kind of how I try to live my life and my career, and everything I'm doing is just speaking it and seeing it and feeling it, So I felt that I was going to be in the UFC. I was talking to a few people this week about I felt it. I knew that I was going to be here. I didn't know when. And I mean, it's now. It's sooner than I thought, but I felt it. And same thing with I really have a feeling that, I'm going to have a good run and I'm going to have a good career. So I feel it no matter what are the steps to get there. Like, if I lose a few, win all of them by knockout, lose a few by knockout, win, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know at the end of it, I feel that I'm going to be a star and a legend. So I'm just going to keep telling myself that, and hopefully everything aligns with it, just like it always has, up to this point. So that's kind of what I'm working with mentally right now. And, I'm excited to just keep on pushing forward and see the future.
So with that being said, how does that transfer to your training? Because I know a lot of times, the hard work is really put in training. What does a training session of yours look like?
So I train in a training session in the morning, and then I do recovery midday, like stretching, ice bath, hot plunge kind of thing. And then I'll go back and train at night for 2-hour sessions. So it's train about 3 to 4 hours a day. But my sessions are a little different depending. Sometimes my sparring sessions are obviously really hard, and if I have a hard session at night, I'll do an easier drill session in the morning, because you got to slow stuff down. You can't just blow and go and spar every practice. For me to get better and break stuff down, you got to slow it down, break it down. So if I have a tough practice at morning or night, my next practice will be a drilling or something like that. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of drive in practice, knowing that I have to be in the moment and be focused, because you can show up at practice and put in the hours, but you also have to put in focus, because I can just go through the motions and be doing everything wrong in practice. I'm not going to get better. I'm putting in the hours, but I'm not better. So you really have to be locked in and focused. And some of the hardest times to stay locked in and focused is in camp. Is when you're hungry, when you're tired, when it's your 80th practice of the week, So you just pulling yourself back. When I start to lose focus, it's no, stay focused, eyes on the prize, So, and I'm not perfect, I'm a professional fighter, but and I'm in the UFC, but I still have days where I feel like shit, and it shows. And it's but it's just about picking yourself up the next day and not letting you, act like that every day, not having terrible practices every day. It's just about trying to keep picking yourself back up on bad days. So yeah, it's a roller coaster being a fighter, just being a human in general. Our emotions are just crazy. So just trying to stay as consistent as you can and picking yourself back up, and one foot in front of the other, trying to stay focused. And that's how I'm go through training, go through camp, and try to go through life. So that's how it's been lately.
Like that mentality. It's like they say, as above, so below. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
was curious to hear kind of your aspect on what the question I know Ryan asked about how much do you think anything was taken away from your strength or whatnot from cutting 17 pounds in 10 days, or do you think you were still able to perform at 100% optimal level?
I definitely feel like I got tired way faster than I will this fight, as opposed to having a full camp. So, my legs did feel like bricks, but I mean, it didn't matter. I was there. I had to just push as hard as I could. And looking back, I feel like I tried to just keep pushing and moving forward. And I wish I would have had more. I don't know. In the moment, it's easy to look back. In the moment, I felt like I gave everything I had. Like I tried to push as hard as I could. So I feel like, yeah, I may have took, my legs away from me, cutting that weight really fast. But it's not going to be like that this time. Hope, like, I tried to do everything this camp, no stone left unturned. Like every practice I was pushing the cardio. So I just hope that it shows, and I hope that my body is there for me on fight night and my legs are there because I prepared for it. So I'm trusting all the work I put in, and I'm trusting that it transfers and I execute. So it's up to me to execute everything that I've worked. But yeah, I kind of went off topic there, but there we go. I'm the master of like not even sticking to questions. Sorry, guys.
That's the whole point. We're here to listen to you. Heck yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I have one of my favorite questions to ask because I'm kind of curious. We always talk about the hard stuff about training, having mental discipline and your physical discipline and whatnot. But I'm curious about what is one part of training that you actually very much enjoy, because I love cardio. I actually love running and then doing wind sprints right after, then doing bear crawls and crab crawls, and then running to the garbage can, throwing up, and then being like, all right, I'm good, stretch out and go shower. I don't know.
Yeah, similar to kind of what you were saying. Like training is hard in the moment. It's like, damn, this is hard. But once you finish a hard workout, y'all all know, like, it's like, that felt awesome. I did that. Like once you finish a hard training session, hard sparring, conditioning, sprints, you're like, I just did that. I accomplished that. I pushed through it. So that's something like mental wise, like I love to feel. But I also, like, if you're talking about just physical, I love to hit mitts. I love to kick. I like to move. I'm an athlete. So like, that's why when I first started training, I kind of like excelled in striking more than jiu-jitsu. Like when my first 6 months of training, I didn't even do jiu-jitsu. I was just like rolling with the kickboxing, just going crazy because I like to move around, jump around. I grew up on a trampoline, like every freaking day for recess, homeschooled recess. So, I like to bounce around and move. So it kind of shows in my fighting style too. I move a lot, but, yeah. So,
That's dope. So you mentioned you like to bounce around and move with your fighting. I was curious. Do you have any fighters that inspire you, that you watch, that you took notice to?
Yeah, sorry. I should know. I know his name, but I don't want to. I butchered it the last time I said it. Corey Sandhagen. I love him. He's a southpaw fighter. He moves a lot. He switches stances. That's something I really try to implement in my game. So I feel like it helps with angles, helps with keeping your head offline, all kind of different things. So I definitely try to, do a lot of things that he will do. He's bouncy, he moves. So he's like one of my biggest fighters that I study and stuff like that.
Okay.
I like the way, like with the bouncing. I saw, I don't know what fight it was. I could just hear your corner just yelling knee, and then left knee. You're jumping, left knee, bam, right knee, bam, and then I just saw the knees coming. I was like, oh my gosh,
dude! I want to land a flying knee knockout one day. So let's be on the lookout for that. We'll try.
Right, you're gonna do something like Masvidal style, like Ben Askren, just come up and whoo, bam,
something crazy. Man, since I've started fighting, I've never had, well, in my opinion, maybe I've never had a boring fight. So I don't plan on starting this Saturday to have a boring fight. Even if win or lose, I'm coming. I'm swinging hard. I won't stop the whole time. So hopefully, every time I get in there, it's a fun fight. It's interesting no matter what happens. So yeah, Saturday, I'm ready to throw hands. I'm so excited. It's been so long. Dude, when you feel someone's face like just crunch on the other side of my favorite. And no, I'm just excited. I'm hyped. Y'all are getting me hyped for this. I haven't even been this excited all week. But
Shit, you getting us hyped.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna be honest. When you started off the show, you were like, "Oh, I don't watch this. I don't know that." I was about to say, "I don't watch or know none of that either." But like here in this one episode, you've made me a fan. I got to go check out all your stuff for sure.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
For sure, for sure. Not everybody has, not every fighter has the personality to back up the fight. You know what I mean? So I think you're going to do great in the UFC. You've got the personality, you've got the skill and talent, and the drive.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Favorite strike?
Favorite strike. Head kick. Easily.
Of course. See, what I like preparing most for the fight is because I know you were talking earlier about you can't eat chicken and rice and stuff. It's some of the different dishes. Sonke over here is a foodie. I mean, this man cooks like crazy. Oh man.
Yeah,
So I
it's
gotta
true.
ask, do you have a favorite dish? Or like something that you like to make that that helps to kick up that flavor town?
I like meatball stew. I'm not sure if they do that all around the country and world, but Louisiana, meatball stew, gumbo, stuff like that.
Oh.
Bomb. You ever had stew?
My people from Louisiana, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So
I have menudo.
Huh?
I have like menudo and like pozole, like that Mexican stuff.
It's not the same, brother.
Yeah, it might not be. Yeah, it's probably good in its own way,
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not much of a gumbo guy, or even really crawfish, but man, I love a good shrimp po' boy. I love a good shrimp po' boy, crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fried crawfish po' boys?
I can do that too. I'm just not really big on the big boils. Everybody loves the big boils. It's not enough food. It's too much work.
I can't cap. But I was always you spend like 5 minutes peeling a crawfish to get this much meat, and it's like, dang, I need a bigger bite than that. So I feel that.
Facts.
Man, so I was gonna ask because earlier we had a comment from Ryan also again asking about how he's saying it's a great episode. He feels like he could learn a lot from you. I was curious because you have learned a lot in the growth that you've had and you've retained a lot of knowledge through hard work and dedication. And I was curious, what are some wise words that you would give to an aspiring fighter? Because like here, some of our people that fight at Street Beats are amateurs trying to go pro. Some have taken it to the next level. Some are just starting off. I mean, anything you would let them know?
Yeah, for sure. Like focus a lot on, fighting. Everybody wants to work power and stuff like that. But one thing I really had to learn was to, slow everything down. And everybody says it, get your technique right first. And it's true. I've always focused on breaking everything down technically, because I always wanted to be a crisp, smooth technical fighter.
Uh-huh.
So, even when you start to pick up power and pick up speed, focusing on like where everything is and making sure that you're staying technically sound in whatever it is, whether it's, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. So taking the time to slow stuff down, because it's easy to want to speed stuff up and go ham and go crazy, but it's really worth it. And also, staying focused in your practices and not just going to your practices. So focusing on the things you want to work on, and then the obvious, just show up, put in the focused work, not just, the hours. So yeah, kind of like what I said earlier, just, I always worked on technique and showing up focused, putting in the work, and not stopping. When you have a bad practice or a bad week, don't, take the next week off. Like just keep showing up and, you'll get to where you want to be, and if you really want to make a career out of this and you really want to fight, don't give yourself another option, So, but or whatever it is, even if you want to be a doctor, don't give yourself another option. Be a doctor, So, I think that's the key to life is like no plan Bs. People say that all the time, but I'm feel like I'm living proof that it's true. Because whenever this is just kind of off topic, I was at work one day and someone was like, "What happens if you don't make it big?" And for the next week, that's like, I thought about that and I was like, oh yeah, like what happens if I don't make it big? And that was the first time since I started fighting that I was like trying to think about, okay, I got to go back to school. Let me think about what I could do. And it messed with my mental. Like it kind of got me off track. And then one of my friends was like, why did you let him get in your head? Like, you told me last month that you didn't have a plan B and now you're about to go back to school. And it just like, I finally got back on and was like, oh wait, no plan B, like I said. And now I'm here in the UFC, so that was a little something that happened that like someone made me think for a second, put it in my head that I should have a plan B, and it almost screwed everything up. I almost like went and got back into school, and I would have, because, okay, this is a little short story. Whenever I started training and got into MMA, I was in school and I had a 4.0 in college. But when I came back home and went to school and I was training at the same time, I failed my classes. So I went from having a 4.0 in college to failing my classes, not because I was dumb or the classes were hard or anything. I just didn't care about school, and I put everything into fighting. And looking back, it's like, dang, I failed classes. That might not have been the best thing, but I'm in the UFC now because I put everything into fighting. So yeah, that's a true story, and I forget that even happened. It's like I was like a 4.0 in high school, 4.0 in college, and then I started failing because I put everything into all my eggs in one basket, like I was saying earlier. So yeah, I mean that part of, I forget that happens, and it's crazy to look back and think about it now. Yeah, but sorry, rambling again. But put all your eggs in one basket and just go for whatever you want. That's done.
Well said.
Fuck off.
I wanted to ask because that's solid advice. We have a lot of people in street beefs who are looking to make a name for themselves in the amateurs, if not pros. I wanted to know, are you familiar with street beefs? Have you seen any fights on YouTube?
No, but y'all are making me a fan of street beefs, so I'm about to have to go check this out after this. So I'm gonna spend my night.
Please do. Both me and Buddy are both fighters from two different branches. There's multiple branches within the country.
Now I have something tonight. That's awesome. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Well, I was gonna say this is always the worst time of the show for me because I have to be the bearer of bad news and say, it's about the time where we start to close things up because I know we can't keep you all night, even though we want to, and we're loving this. Oh, I know we have to let you go as well. So, any final questions, Sam K, for the Miss Carli Crispy?
I think we covered just about everything, man. I mean, solid advice all throughout the show. If there's anything you want to let the people know, yeah, just now's the time.
I don't have much else. I talk a lot, but I appreciate y'all for having me on here. It was awesome. I'm gonna go check out Street Beefs. Hopefully, I can watch some of y'all fights and stuff. But thanks for having me. It was fun, and maybe later down the road, when I'm still thriving in the UFC, we can get back on here and chat it up. So that'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. You have an Instagram you want anyone to follow, or Facebook, or like a fight page?
Yeah, I got Instagram, Crispy Carli J. So y'all hit me up on there and keep it. I'll keep y'all posted on everything that's going on, fight week and fight and stuff like that. So y'all follow me.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure and a phenomenal show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all tune in.
And I'll be checking the fight.
Yes, tune in. Let's go.
Yeah, we for sure will. You have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all too. Appreciate it.
And all you guys check out the fight too. Please check out her fight. She's gonna be kicking some ass. So make sure we all gotta go support. But man, that was
another fire episode, man. She got me fired up, bro. She got me fired up. I'm not gonna lie. So man, can't wait to see it, man. Can't wait to see it. Saturday, right?
This Saturday, they start around 4. It starts at 4 o'clock, and she is the 4th fight, she said.
Okay, okay. That sounds good, man. That sounds good. Well, shoot, the show isn't over though, right?
No, not yet. You have to wait for the Fire 5.
Yeah, and the fighters to watch.
It's funny, like I wouldn't even say we're influenced by 90s music as much as I would just say we're influenced by good music. You know, I think we're very genre diverse. You know, like we're not really fixated on one particular era or genre of music. I think we just kind of and you know, it shows in our music too that we kind of take the elements of whatever that we do enjoy and try to put it together some way or another. And I think that's true for all of our music.
Musically, would you call yourself polyamorous?
Polyamorous. I like that.
Oh, that's unique. I haven't heard that one.
We're gonna start using that, Jay, on all our like
Listen,
files and stuff like that.
If I was y'all, not trying to be funny, I would probably make that the name of a song or an album.
That's good. I like that. It's kind of like a
cool idea. Album and every song is a different genre.
I'm putting that in our bio right now.
I have my moment. What's up, everybody? It's Jay from Yankee and the Brit bringing you some exciting news. King Palms and Yankee and the Brit are teaming up together to give you an amazing deal. Head over to kingpalm.com, use promo code KPYNB to save 20% off your entire order. That's right, 20%.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
100th episode, Fighters to Watch. So I'm going to do things a little different because I feel like I need to talk about some fighters that have had the most improvement. Because when I tell you there's a fighter to watch, it's for a reason. Now, first fighter, as always, we start off at the scrapyard. So I have to say the fighter's soul, because I feel he really has improved from his first fight, when you really watch it, to the amount of the work he's had to have put in to be able to have technique, to have, kickboxing matches, boxing matches, to where he's going to be probably competing for a belt here soon. I don't know what's going to go on, maybe next month, maybe in a couple months if he has an opponent. But it's proof that I love watching lighter fighters too. Not every fighter is bulky and has 200 pounds packed with muscle. Sometimes they're quick, they're lightning fast, and he's got some iconic fights. So make sure you go check him out because he definitely has grown a lot. And you got to give props when props are due. And he's also fought in some other cages outside of Scrapyard, which is another reason why he's made it, because he's starting to make that transition. Which also another fighter making a transition to other stuff is for Street Beefs West Coast. Young and Lavish. Now, this is a fun fighter because, you, again, can look from his first fight to his most recent fight, and you see the amount of growth from not just through his training, but through the experience in that cage, from getting down with the nitty-gritty, to the point where he has a fight in an outside organization. He's also going to be fighting the one and only Shinigami. So that's going to be a fun fight to watch. But again, a fighter making steps to go even further in their fight career that deserves the recognition. Third one from the OG yard, Man in the Mirror. For those of you that know, that is Scarface's son, and he made his pro debut. Now, talk about props when props are due. He's had a shit ton of fights in the OG Street Beefs yard. Because of that, I still thought, people who may usually have an amateur record. He didn't even need an amateur record. This boy was so skilled. He went to have his pro debut and came home with a win. And let me tell you, I was not surprised because he is an excellent fighter. He's grown crazy from his first fight because you all can't forget how young he also is too. So, yeah, I want to see this pro now. Ooh. And last one from Dirty South was Dennis the Menace, because he had a nasty fight recently. You got to go check it out. And he's going to be going to get an even bigger record outside of Street Beefs and eventually go pro. And that's one of his big goals that he's going to make happen. And he even proclaimed it at the end of his video. So, you know what? We're talking about people transitioning who's already done that. So you need to make sure that you watch them. These people are out of this world. Like I said, props when props are due. Those are my 4 fighters that have earned more than just a fighter to watch. 100th episode.
Yeah, that was dope, man. Fire picks as always, and the 100th episode. Amazing. Amazing, man.
Straight fire. But the fans need a little more fire.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, Somcam the Fire 5. Let's go ahead and start things off. Street Beef's OG Yard. You see it. This is a title match. MMA Sensation versus Mike. This is a hell of a fight right here. This is the type of match you want to see when the title's on the line. No time wasted between these two. We saw some great adjustments made and some serious capitalization made. Great performance with the grappling on the ground. We got a solid submission in the end and some good action in this fight. Looking forward to a rematch, possibly. Street Beef's OG Yard, Sensation versus Mike, firefight. Yeah, taking you to Street Beef Scrapyard. You see it. If you're looking up this fight, the title's on the screen. This fight is between NC Nightmare versus Frankie Balboa. You see Frankie right there on the screen. This is a boxing match, very entertaining, youth versus experience. And both men were tested in this fight, so it was great to see. We see adjustments made to get the victory. And this is one of those fights where it's aggression versus perseverance. And as we say every episode, cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key. Nonetheless, firefight. Street Beef Scrapyard, NC Nightmare versus Frankie Balboa. Yeah, you see it. Street Beef's West Coast. We have the Showman in the latest Shark Tank. Again, if you guys aren't familiar with the Shark Tank, one man in the center of the ring taking on multiple opponents, 1 minute each, and he goes till he can't anymore. I was actually involved in this Shark Tank. This was fire. If you know the Showman, he comes out, he puts on a show each and every time. I believe he's an undefeated fighter, and he put on a show in this Shark Tank. Multiple opponents, all heart, on the line, beautiful defenses, consistent volume, constantly attacking. This is just a firefight right here. Street Beef's West Coast, the Showman Shark Tank. Yeah, taking you down south. Street Beef's Dirty South. We have Black Spartan versus Malcolm. Black Spartan has been to multiple branches to fight. Street Beef's OG Yard, Street Beef's West Coast, and as well as Street Beef's Dirty South. This was a kickboxing match right here, and this was a great fight. As you see on the timestamp, no time wasted. These guys started very poised, and then it got destructive. The fight was over before you knew it. Firefight at that. Street Beef's Dirty South, Black Spartan versus Malcolm. And the final firefight of the night, taking you back to Street Beef Scrapyard. This is a kickboxing match between two household names, two Scrapyard legends, Crazy Legs versus King Kai. Man, these guys did not disappoint. Both these guys, very high fight IQ, and they showed it. They put it on full display. Everything you want to see in a firefight, chopping kicks, solid combinations, slippery defenses. I mean, just a great fight. Street Beef's Scrapyard, Crazy Legs versus King Kai, Somcam the Fire 5.
Cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key.
Yeah.
As you said that.
Just so y'all know, that Somcam merch is on the way. On the way.
On the way. That's why y'all gotta stay tuned. And since you're on here, the exclusive part about tuning into MMA Underground is you will get to see this stuff before other people do, before social media, before anyone else. Look at that. Feeling like Apollo Creed over here.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Exclusives. Exclusive.
Don't worry. I got something for the ladies too. So if you need to get something for your
Come
girlfriend,
on, man.
with a little something. And don't worry, they're long enough, so you ain't gotta worry about no booty cheeks hanging out at the
Let's
gym.
go. Tops and bottoms. Hey, a little something for everybody right there, man.
Exactly. But that's not even out yet. So see, you guys just get to check it out. But man, what do you say? Were we having too much fun? But are we gonna have to wrap it up now?
I mean, we can't go for forever, man. But once again, another fire episode. Great conversation as always. Great guests, and yeah, man. What can I say, man? What can you ask for? Couldn't have a better show.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead and get through these shout outs. First and foremost, I want to thank our guests, Miss Crispy, Carli. We appreciate you and your time. Looking forward to your fight Saturday. I want to thank the people who are watching us live. Those of you who are in the live chat commenting, we appreciate you. Those of you watching us on playback, we appreciate you. Shout out to Street Beef's OG Yard, Street Beef's Scrap Yard, Street Beef's West Coast, Street Beef's Dirty South. We do this for y'all. Shout out to Overtime Hustling Magazine, Heart in the Fight, Zwell.com. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, if you guys are trying to catch me, I'm here, same time, same place, every week. Don't really do the social media. If you got me, you got me. And thank you, Buddy V, always killing it. Thank you, Jay, always killing it. And that's pretty much it for me, man. Shout out to MMA Underground.
Yeah, MMA Underground.
Shout out to MMA Underground. If you haven't liked and subscribed, now's the time. Like and subscribe.
So, I'm about to say shout out to Zwell. And you go to zwell-world.com for all that awesome merch. And since you're here, you know that when you type in Y and B in the promo code, when you go check out, you get a discount anyway. What? Of course, you know that. And like I said, since you're checking everything out, you saw some of the stuff live. When summer hits, the spring collection will be done. So if you haven't got it, sorry, a little SOL. But it's all good because that just means you got time to get something new for the summer. And now you learned. But Zwell_Buddy V for the Instagram because I have lots of fun. I've actually, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to post more, I have been posting consistently every single day, stories, everything else, inspirational things. I have a whole list for every day of the week, but you're going to have to tune in to check it out. So that way you can see here all the fun times. But with that being said, thank you, Jay, or thank you, Samke. You killing it with me, and I couldn't think of a better co-host anywhere. Jay, you're keeping us on our toes from the beginning of the show. I like it. All right. We're gonna have to switch it up next time.
A little bit.
And thank you everyone watching, and you know how we always end the show in Jay's famous words with one love, one world, deuces.